Hi everyone, today I'm here with Henrique Vedana, and Henrique is a person that I wanted to meet for a long time now because we have a lot of friends in common, and I know he has done wonderful things in his professional life and his career. He has graduated from Kaos Pilot, and he runs the School of Facilitators and also Manifesto 55, it's Manifest 55. Would that be a good
manifesto. Manifesto, yeah, Manifesto 55. Yes.
Yeah, and he has been helping people in this moment when a lot of us are struggling to understand how to work in a better way from our houses, from our homes, and also learning a lot of things and new things. And so thank you, Henrique, for being with us. And how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Pedro, for the invitation. I think also helping other people also help us to understand what's going on. So I guess your intention for this conversation is the same as mine. Like, okay, let's try to make sense of what's going on here. And I think that everybody is going through a similar kind of mass change, challenges, and I think that it's a great time to reflect. And I think that that's the positive side of this crisis, I see.
That's great to hear, because we were talking a little bit before we started the recording, and that's something you said that got me. Like, it seems like you are looking at things with a positive perspective, in a way that, like, how can we do our best and how can we learn the most from this? Am I right?
I try that because for me, I think this, let's say this quarantine, the stay-at-home orders, but also this fear of what is this virus, what's going to happen to us and our families, and of course the economy, the fake news, let's say the political debate going on around the world. I think it all affects us big time, like emotionally and psychologically. So it's not to be light about the situation or not to deny the situation, which are all stages that we're going through in this traumatic moment in most people's life. As I say, it's like this unique event in our generation that we're going through. But I think to keep this positive mindset help us to learn from it more than if we are in a denial or if we are just going through the bad feelings that are also part of the situation. So for me, it's not that I'm happy all the time or that I'm positive all the time, but I try to think about it and take care of myself the best I can to get through it. Yes.
Yeah, amazing. That's an inspiration, because I I agree with you. I think it's happening, and it's not an easy thing. It's a traumatic process, and how can we do our best and, well, yeah, learn the most. So can you tell us a little bit about Manifesto and the School of Facilitators?
Yes, that was my business until the crisis started, because I think like many businesses we're having to reinvent ourselves.
Yeah.
But what I've been doing for the last 10 years professionally is to facilitate groups, to design and facilitate all kinds of meetings of collectives, to solve problems, to plan, to work together, to solve conflicts, for learning situations. So all my professional career in the last 10 years have been based on people together, usually in a room, close to each other, sometimes very close to each other. Right. And that's been denied. We cannot do that anymore. So that's been like the shock of the crisis. But Manifesto in the last 4 years have been working capacity building, like training of using facilitation techniques and facilitation tools and approaches to lead, to be in front of groups, And these groups can be my team, could be my project teams, could be my subordinates, but can be my students in my classroom. So we've been working a lot of teachers in the last years. And since the last year, we created the School of Facilitators as an explicit way to approach education and training. So that's why we call it school, right? People have this idea, oh, my school, what's, you know, so people start asking, what's the methodology, how you evaluate. I was like, okay, let's talk about that, because that's very important in any learning environment. So we've been doing trainings all around Brazil, mostly some even in South America already. And it's been an amazing journey, very, very learningful, not easy, like in any kind of business. And now we got in the beginning of the crisis having to cancel 100% of our activities.
And how did that change the way you work? Like you told me a lot of people started calling you and asking for advice about how to work and how to change their businesses. And yours, you had to change it as well and reinvent yourself. And how?
To be honest, I had a few days of denial. For me, I think the first week I was like, I was not affected that way because I had projects with clients booked for end of April. We're talking like mid of March, right? So I had clients for end of April, May, June, July, a very nice agenda for the first semester, challenging projects, very good clients. And also our courses that were just launching the new website, the new agenda for the course of the year, you know, May, June, São Paulo, Brasilia, beautiful calendar, you know, like new programs. We're very excited about that. So the first week I was like, it's gonna be rough now, but it's okay because now it's a selling. We're selling your courses, and actually we're selling. People are buying. People are making payments. We're very okay, good. Things are starting to grow, and then people, other friends and colleagues, start calling me saying, "Wow, man, my client canceled me. I had a planning. Can you help me to do an online planning because my client decided that he's not going to fly his employees, or I have an international client who canceled the program because in Italy they're having problems." Like, oh, wow, okay, let me help you. And I was very happy to help until it got to me. Like when the cancellations also affected me, and it took like a few days for this to happen, and that has been part of the journey, which is ourselves as entrepreneurs. And the funny part is we talk about innovation, we talk about creativity, we talk about entrepreneurship, and then suddenly you have to do everything to yourself, right? I have to reinvent myself. I have to apply design thinking to my own programs, and then you find all the resistances, all the fears, all the blockages, all the drama, things that you don't want to give up. I don't want to give up on this because it's been so good. But so that has been a bit of my journey as well. Like, and I see that a lot of people have been through similar process. That's true.
Would you say that that's the biggest struggle, like still being attached on how good it was, like things were running smoothly, not for everyone, for sure, but I think everyone had plans and everything changed. And that's one of the biggest struggles that people are going through.
It's so different, right? I think we are part of this very privileged group of people who are able to work from home. First of all, like to have a home, to have internet, to have an office at home, and to be able to adapt, having either jobs or their own companies to manage. That's already a privilege because a lot of people can't do their jobs at home.
Yeah.
And from those who can do at home, to be able actually to create value doing things through the internet, that's another level of privilege. And that's what I realized. What happened is that our company has been the last 4 years, and even in my last 10 years, I worked in different parts of Brazil. So we always had our preparation phases done virtually most of the time. So we always use technology, virtual collaboration in different ways to prepare, to plan, to align, to make interviews, to do everything. And then we only travel when needed, you know, for the workshop, for the training itself. So I realized that I had built experience and some knowledge, also enjoying using new technologies and trying new things. I've studied that in the last 2 years quite intentionally. So suddenly you see, wow, actually what I know, I haven't used that much, but actually that can be valuable. And because some people called me, some of these people in my network called my help, and like I posted on my LinkedIn just saying, hey guys who need help, just give me a call. I'm here to support. And it's been beautiful actually. It was not, I didn't intend to make money doing that, and I haven't made money out of it, but just to have this kind of conversations helped me in the process, right? To go through my own emotions through that, learning what the people are going through and helping them. Hey, you know how to use this tool, you know how to do that. And oh, we have this exercise. Okay, you can do it through online. Let's do it this way. And that has been very nice, very good. It feels good, you know, to be at service, to be able to help a little bit. And then in parallel to that, you're also thinking about your own business. Okay, if I cannot run my courses in person, can I do something online? Can I launch a course online? Can I do my workshops with my clients online? And that has been a little bit this innovation process going through with me, and I think with a lot of people that I know of.
I connect with that a lot, like being able to help other people heals ourselves and helps ourselves. And as well as what you've been saying, that when you try to teach something, you're learning a lot. And so being connected seems to be like one of the principles of being able to cope with what's happening, both personally and as a team and as a business. Right.
Absolutely. I had this, I give you some examples, that the words we're using, in my opinion, they're wrong. We talk about social distancing or social isolation. And actually it's wrong because actually it's physical isolation.
Yeah.
It's physical distancing. We need to be far away physically, but not socially.
Yeah.
So I think it was a bad choice of words because in fact, what I feel is that in many cases we're socially closer.
Yeah.
Right? I feel closer to family, to some contact. And it's beautiful to see this happening. Suddenly people have more time, or they are able to create time to meet online now. So from reunions of old friends and family over dinners and breakfasts and brunches. I also had this chance, even professionally, when the crisis started, we had our class of students from last year's at the School of Facilitators. And then we start exchanging messages in group, and people say, well, let's meet up, let's talk. So, okay, so I called a meeting, let me be the host, and let's see what happens. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. A lot of people came, not some more anxious, some more like what's going on, and some people very proactively proposing ideas and collaboration and simply support, just to be able to listen or to be heard, to be listened to. It's a beautiful process that helped them, you know, in these first weeks. And I think that's a very good feeling. And I feel also I've been part of international networks, you know, for more than half of my life. And I feel that some of them I feel very close to them now. Because I think before I would try to connect geographically, right? So meet with my local network here in my city, maybe my network around Brazil. So when I would go to São Paulo, meet with the network there. But it's very analog thinking. And suddenly now that nobody can go anywhere, you can go everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? So suddenly I found out that I have having calls almost weekly with very like inspiring people from Canada to Australia. And then we find meeting times, right? So where Canada is 6 in the morning, Australia is at 10 in the evening, and 9 in the morning. In Europe, it's like 1 in the afternoon. And we meet to exchange ideas, like all facilitators, all consultants, all learning designers, everybody went through the same crisis. And it's a global situation. and you can get global inspiration as well for yourself, for your job, for your work. I think that's been super inspiring, and I really hope to maintain this broader perspective that the crisis gave me.
That's amazing. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to change the words we're using. Like really.
Yeah, it's, the way we process the words in our brain make us think differently.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think that to a lot of us, it's been an inspiring time to get closer to people, even if we're not physically closer. And I wanted to ask you about thinking about leaders that are having like to manage their teams online right now. Thinking about the people that are getting in contact with you, what are they going through? What are their challenges, and how can you help people go through that situation?
For me, it has been a process of listening in the last weeks, and even empathy. Why? Because I work remotely a lot, like with teams, with my clients. So I'm used to certain tools, like you share your calendar, you have a shared to-do list or a planning platform, whatever tool you use to do that. You organize yourself, you automatically open share documents and share presentations. It's kind of natural for you to do that. I use less email, send messages across. You already do real time, like video conferencing. It happens naturally. And then you meet some people who never done that. They might not even share their calendars. So it's not only the mindset, but it's really like, whoa, I feel illiterate. It's like I feel incompetent at this moment, because the competences that this crisis is asking for me, it's difficult. And then of course you have the different mindsets of, oh, I can't do that. Or, oh, how can I learn about this? Wow, interesting. Never used Zoom in my life. Oh, how can I do that? So I think this we find a lot. So even managers, leaders who have been able to take good care of their employees, their teams in the high-touch environments, they have difficulties because of technology sometimes. And then they have also their limiting beliefs. No, you cannot do that. I cannot do a feedback session like this. I need to sit next to the person to do that. I'll wait until the office reopens and then we do that. So I see that there's been a lot of focus in operational aspects of business, because that cannot stop, and a lot of business are in crisis. So it's always war rooms, right? It's language, again, the language of war, right? What that make us think about the situation. So it's how can we make decisions, right? So that moved fast, and people are working the best they can because they have to take decisions. They cannot wait for that. And then a lot of processes that are more human centered, they are being postponed or not thought through. So a lot of crises are not being managed because people don't see each other. They don't think it exists. And then you have back channels. Then it goes like, messaging one side, message on another, parallel groups, and this whole context gets toxic a lot. So for me, I think one important role of the leader now is to be able to create spaces where people can actually speak. They can listen, they can be heard. So to have hosts as leaders is very important to happen at this situation.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't know if I answer your question though. You can try again.
Yeah, I messed up when I was questioning as well. Like I was a little bit blocked with my English, but yeah, I think you answered my question, and I'm trying to grasp what to ask you now, because that's something really complex, in my mind. The changes in behavior that are happening right now, and what we could be doing to do it better. You just said it has to do with mindset, but it also with a technological literacy.
Yes.
And also this change in context, like we are working remotely, and then what I'm experiencing physically is my house, and I'm fortunate if I have a space that is organized for me to work, because a lot of people are sharing their days with like their companions and the children, and that creates dispersion and struggles, and also you are not in physical contact with your colleagues, and so how to ask questions and how to make the information go around, and to learn as a team, and to be able to unblock when you feel frozen with a task and stuff like that. So it's a lot, right? And
yeah, how to create the online channels of communication, exactly, like how to ask help, how to get other people involved, how to make things work. And I think that's an argument that a lot of the platforms we see for online work, for remote work, they're using, they're calling for that. And new ones are coming up that kind of try to replicate some of the aspects of the social aspects of work together in an office. How can you do that while remotely, to feel the connection, to feel that people are close, to feel that you can just approach and say, hey, let's have a coffee. You know, how do you do that if you work remotely, right? How do you invite someone, let's go to the cantina to have a coffee while you're actually all at home, you know? So it doesn't make sense how you do that. What I noticed, what we've been actually talking to people is you have even less control than before, right? There's a whole idea of the leaders having control of the situation, and in a way the management based in control is still happens in a lot of places. And then you try to bring that same style to the online virtual remote work and remote management. Mm-hmm. But then you don't have control. Like, I'm here, I'm on this side of the camera, you don't decide what's happening around here. There are two sides. One is that you need to engage the people differently, so that actually they can continue to produce results, produce work. And what a lot of studies are starting to show now is actually this is happening. People are getting more results done at home, even with their dog and their child nearby, than in the office, because of their colleagues and their boss and all the amount of meetings they had. They're being more productive at home in their own time. Some people like to work at 6 in the morning, some people work at 10 at night, and it's cool. You're home, you can do it. You have an autonomy that you didn't have in the office, and the managers need to understand that. So that's for them to let go of control, and they need to trust their employees more than ever. But then in the other side, from my side, working remotely, I need to build discipline. Mm-hmm. I need to build self-control. I need to build efficiency. And having 2 children at home, cleaning, cooking, the cats, if I'm not super efficient and super careful with my time, nothing gets done. So it's a challenge for a lot of people. And so working at home means, for me, not you, my manager, but me as an employee, I need to take ownership over creating an environment of work, managing my tasks, my time, also because I have tasks at home that need to be done. Meanwhile, distractions that can affect me more than they would at work. It's not working for everybody, the remote work. It might not work for everybody, but for some people it has been relief. It has been surprisingly positive, affirmative, and productive to work from home. And it's always been said, like companies always say, no, you cannot do remote work. Like legal issues, security issues, safety issues, insurance issues, productivity issues, management issues. And look now, we're all doing remote work. Suddenly it's possible. It is possible. It is possible. And I hope we can all learn from that and create different environments because of that for the future.
Yeah, you were saying to me before that there's a lot of changes that are happening right now that is going to stick. And there are some things that we are not going to go back from because they will seem better just because of that.
Yeah, exactly. I think so. I think so. And new opportunities will come. But that's, I don't know exactly what and how it's going to happen. There are a lot of people making their predictions. It's just like the doctors and the health specialists, right? Making predictions, and economists making predictions. I think also in business life, we're also making predictions. So let's see what actually will happen.
Yeah, that's going to be a thrill to see what we're going to do with this in the long run. So thank you very much for your time and for sharing your experience with us. It's been amazing to hear you, and I've sure learned a lot. And it's great to see how you're doing and how you're helping people, and that it's possible and you can do it. And we'll have to learn a lot, and we'll keep learning, and we'll have to see. Right?
Thank you so much, Pedro, for the opportunity again. Like I said, it feels after this conversation that time went really fast. Things make more sense. And I hope for people who are watching this video, this makes sense, and or maybe provokes you to think and discover what makes sense for you. Right? I think that it's up to each one of us to make sense of all that. So I hope to contribute to that reflection for everybody.